In 2001, Nintendo released a Nintendo 64 game exclusive to Japan called Dobutsu no Mori, or Animal Forest in English. In 2002, Nintendo released this game in North America with updated features for the GameCube, where it is now known around the world as Animal Crossing. And in 2022, I finally left my house to get a girlfriend with whom I played and experienced Animal Crossing. I never had the pleasure of playing these games before. The first time I'd ever seen anything about Animal Crossing wasn't even from one of the main series, but from the Smashville and Town and City stages in Smash Bros. Brawl. I saw the characters hanging out in the background and thought they looked weird as hell. Then Villager got announced for Smash 4 a few years later, and my interest further increased. Fast forward to the pandemic when everyone was playing New Horizons, where I was hesitant to spend $90 on a new game that I wasn't sure would hook me. Therefore, I pulled out the old you-know-what and downloaded the original Animal Crossing on my laptop. I played it for a bit, then lost interest after 30 minutes, deciding that it just wasn't my thing, as I moved on to play more Destiny like usual. Fast forward yet again into 2022, where I get coerced into playing one of the few games that casual gamer girls actually play, the wacky and wonderful Animal Crossing for the GameCube. There's a lot to talk about with this game. Core mechanics, daily activities, personal experiences, and just how goddamn charming everything is. This is a classic feel-good game that you can relax and play for a little bit each day to make some progress. Or don't play each day and come back when there's a special event happening. But you will be made aware of your absurd absence by every villager, so pick your poison. It's a game made to be played over a long period of time to slowly work towards different long-term goals. If you have the dedication and determination, there are many things to grind for that will keep you playing for hundreds of hours. According to the website How Long to Beat, a completionist playthrough of this game is around 600 hours, which is absolutely crazy. Since I value my time and sanity, I most certainly did not play it for that long. In the gameplay section, I'll talk about how much we accomplished before deciding to end our playthrough, but I think around 40 to 45 hours is a reasonable estimate for my playtime. However, there is one thing I need to mention first. When we began our playthrough of this game, I was not planning to make a video about it. It was only around 15 hours played that I decided I wanted to talk about it on YouTube, so I don't have footage of the beginning of the game. As a result, background gameplay will consist of completing our daily routines of tasks or experiencing a particular event like Halloween. Since that's only a small part of the game, I don't consider it to be too big of a deal for this video. With that said, welcome to Animal Crossing. I have nothing but praise for the presentation of this game, and that continues for all future entries in this series as well. The art style of Animal Crossing is very cute and playful, with characters having a variety of facial expressions and short animations to showcase their personalities. In a game where you play as a human surrounded by anthropomorphic characters, oddly enough, you're the one that stands out in the crowd. Especially with the design of your main character, which is just so weird compared to the future games. Why do you have horns? Are they just a part of your hat, or do your hats have cutouts for your horns? What species are you? Whenever you interact with one of your villagers, they always have a lot to say and you'll see it in their face. If you do something nice for them, they'll have flowers around them showing that they're happy. If they're upset about something, they'll have a storm cloud above them signaling how annoyed they are for whatever reason. All of these things contribute to the chill and carefree vibes of Animal Crossing, and that extends to the music as well. This game is meant to be played for a long period of time, logging in often to see what's new in the village, and playing at specific times of the day to encounter different bugs or characters. Therefore, you'll be listening to the same song several times on repeat, which is where my greatest praise for this game's music arises. It never becomes annoying to hear these songs repeatedly. With some games, hearing the same track over and over again can be equally aggravating and boring. However, in Animal Crossing, I don't mind listening to the same music every day. One thing that helps this is that there's a different song for every hour of the day, so every hour on the hour, the background music changes most of the time without you even realizing. And that's what makes it so genius. It's the perfect background music to complement the relaxed atmosphere of the game world. It's like humming your favorite songs while doing chores in real life, something that's often done subconsciously while you're more focused on the task at hand. By far my favorite song in this game was the 9 PM theme. It's honestly perfect for this kind of game, and I've listened to it while doing homework multiple times. And besides for the hourly music that plays, you've got other songs like the main menu theme, which is truly iconic, all of the Tom Nook shop themes, and the wonderful woes courtesy of everyone's favorite musician, KK Slider. A man that's so special that he's only around on Saturday nights to perform some of his music for you. You'll get to hear some of his greatest hits, including the award-winning Forest Life, KK Rockabilly, and of course who could forget Bubblegum KK, a song so good it could cure world hunger. It's events like these, and the dozens of villager interactions, and the happy jingles when digging up a new item or paying off a house loan, that make this such a feel-good game. All of these elements are interwoven together to create a style and identity unique to Animal Crossing, and it's something I'll be looking forward to with every future iteration of the series I play. Animal Crossing opens with your player character moving away from home to a new town. You're minding your own business on a train until this weird cat named Rover begins pestering you for information. He'll ask you questions to set up your character, including your name, gender, and the town you're traveling to. There's a funny dialogue option where once you tell him your name, he'll make a joke about it being weird for a boy, at which point you can correct him for being a girl instead and he'll be super apologetic towards you. Regarding my destination, naturally the only place anyone would want to go is Big Land, so that's where my adventure took me. Except I forgot to save my game the first time I played it, so out with the old, in with the new, my next town will be Big Land 2. Rover then insults you for not having a house to stay in, and mentions that he knows someone in the town that can provide you with one. This is when ignoring stranger danger comes back to bite me in the ass, when you're unknowingly placed into indentured servitude to the one and only Tom Nook. Since your character is beyond broke with a mere 1,000 bells to their name, the beginning of the game consists of running errands for Tom Nook to pay off your debt to him. These simple chores serve as the tutorial to familiarize yourself with the game's core systems. You'll plant some flowers, speak to all of the villagers in your town, deliver items to different villagers, and mail some letters. Eventually, Nook releases you from your duties to do whatever your heart desires, which for this early in the game usually means doing short fetch quests for villagers to scrape up whatever cash you can find. Doing the quests aren't entirely pointless though, as you receive various items that you can decorate your house with, so it no longer looks like an abandoned warehouse you'd get murdered in. These menial jobs for Tom Nook are actually a smart introduction to the game that helps draw a mental map of the town, including where the important buildings are and learning the geography of the land. Every new game of Animal Crossing is designed with a randomly generated town layout, typically consisting of a large cliff and a river that divides the town into different segments. After playing for several hours over multiple days of running through your town completing your daily tasks, you'll come to memorize the layout of your town and no longer require checking a map, which I find to be a satisfying indication of mastery in this game. I could see running around delivering items being boring on a second playthrough, but I believe organically learning the layout of your town is still invaluable for any run of the game. Now that you're free from Nook's grasp, the real game can begin. There's no rush to paying off the remainder of your house debt, so you can spend bells on other items like tools and more decor from the man cave. When I first started my playthrough, I bought any tools Nook was selling to begin filling out my fossil and fish collections. I was also making money by picking up fruit on the ground and seashells around the beach to sell for a few bells each. By the time your house is fully paid off, you've been exposed to most of what Animal Crossing has to offer. But don't you worry, because you're just getting started. Immediately after this, Tom Nook will do you a big solid of remodeling your house to make it more spacious, which means yet another debt that needs to be paid off. And how much for this expansion? Just a meager 150,000 bells, which is around 8 times more than the initial debt just to own your home. And thus the cycle begins anew of owing Tom Nook an exuberant amount of money for his supposed good deeds. And it doesn't stop there with your house. The next tier of upgrades enables a choice of expanding the main floor once again, or adding a basement. We chose to get a basement first, which is a much more affordable 49,800 bells. But then Nook drops the bomb that is the main floor expansion, costing 398,000 bells. Like, what the hell, bro? That's the point that we reached with our playthrough as of writing the script, and we're still working to pay off that absurd debt. At least Nook cares about following tax laws, probably the only legal thing he does. There's still one final upgrade to your house after this that adds a second floor, but that one costs 798,000 bells to pay off. So yeah, that's not happening in this decade. And to pay off these ridiculous debts, you gotta earn some bells. This is where you get into your daily routine with this game as you slowly push towards that next milestone of progression. Once I had an established daily routine for earning bells, an average day in Big Land 2 was as follows. I always started with checking my mail, just in case I got some fossils back from the museum. Then I'd be off to do my regular activities. I'd wander around the village looking for new fossils to dig up, hit all of the rocks to find the special money rock for extra bells, catch any bugs that I found to be worth lots of bells, hand in my appraised fossils to Blathers, see what new items Tom Nook has in stock, maybe replace my old tools if needed, harvest the non-native fruit from my trees to sell for profit, check the police station and garbage dump for lost items to keep or sell, write new letters to villagers or the museum to have new fossils examined, catch a couple fish, talk to some villagers, find the golden dig spot, and my girlfriend's personal favorite, weeding. Removing every weed everywhere without remorse until the end of time where the weeds are no more. I was usually the one playing the game since I play video games much more than she does, but once every play session I handed over the controller to let her loose on those hell spawns. Also, I cannot ignore how badly Blathers needs to shut the hell up. He is the only NPC where you cannot speed through his dialogue, and I was so sick of it by the end. God forbid you keep showing him duplicate items because you forgot what was already a part of your collections.
Fuck this.
All of these seemingly mundane activities always had some purpose, some end goal to work towards that kept me interested in seeing what I could find the next day. Paying off my newest home upgrade that Tom Nook so generously built, filling out my museum collections, and decorating each square of the town as well as my own home. Every day you're making incremental progress towards that next milestone, with progress usually made in the form of bells earned in a day. There's a daily limit to the number of fossils available to find, and only certain bugs can be available at specific times or seasons, which is the game's way of subtly nudging you towards playing each day to slowly push towards whatever goal you've set for yourself to accomplish. This game is meant to be very grindy, but I honestly didn't mind. It pales in comparison to my 1800 hours in Destiny 2. The game never tells you explicitly what to do or what qualifies as beating the game. It's something that you'll have to decide for yourself once you feel satisfied with your accomplishments. But even when I wasn't focused on a particular end goal, my time continued naturally progressing both due to and apart from my influence. As I performed more daily tasks and earned additional money from selling my duplicate items to Tom Nook, eventually he was able to upgrade his store to different levels. His shop started as Nook's Cranny, then evolved to Nook and Go, and later Nookway. There is one further upgrade called Nookington that's only available by having other players visit your village and spending 250,000 bells at Nook shops. However, due to circumstances and my sanity, this was not possible for me to achieve. When playing this game, you have a chance of being consulted by the town's mayor, Tortimer, about where to build a bridge over the river. In my game, I made the mistake of approving a spot for this bridge right near the one I already had present, so now this new bridge is completely useless. Why not put it literally anywhere else, huh, Tortimer?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Villagers can come and leave at any point during your playthrough, and it's both sad to watch them leave and exciting to see what new face you'll meet. I have more to say about this part of the game, so I'll discuss it more in depth shortly. Throughout the calendar year, different events and holidays will take place in-game. Some of these include Halloween, Christmas, the birthday given to your villager player, the Mushroom Festival, fishing tourneys, a pop-up shop from the most sketchy guy possible named Red, KK Slider appearing on Saturday nights to play music, and many, many more. So many more, in fact, that just as we were about to conclude our playthrough of this game, I searched up a list of these events and realized how much we've missed out on during the year. This prompted us to time travel to different points in the year and experience the ones that we thought were the most interesting. The events I enjoyed the most were a fireworks festival for the 4th of July, a meteor shower in August, and early morning exercises with Cooper and our other villagers. These events occur regardless of your attendance that day, so it's a good idea to hop on during these times to see what's happening in the village. While this can lead to a small dose of FOMO, or fear of missing out, it does help to make this game feel much more grounded and relatable, and this couldn't be more true than when a villager decides to move on from your world. This is one of the more sad but realistic occurrences in the game. There's a 15 villager limit to your town, meaning that eventually once you reach the cap, some people will move on to make room for new ones. I don't believe this can be controlled, and from my understanding it's completely random who decides to pack up and leave the town. While I enjoyed watching some of the dumb bitches leave, it was always kind of sad to talk to a villager just to hear that they're thinking of leaving soon. Or if you're not playing the game for a long period of time, when you come back there's a decent chance that someone will have left without even saying goodbye. This happened especially often when we were time traveling throughout the year to see every event we missed. I honestly have to remind myself that I'm looking at pixels on a screen when I play this game, because it's sad to never see a villager you liked ever again. It's unfortunately realistic, but hey, at least you get to meet a new personality in your town, which isn't necessarily a bad trade-off. Now, although I have given this game plenty of praise, I would be lying if I said it was perfect. There have been a few annoyances sprinkled throughout this playthrough that, while not ruining the experience, have definitely made this game feel dated. A majority of these complaints are quality of life issues that I'm hoping are improved in future games, and include the following. Whenever you catch a fish or bug, the game does not indicate if it's a new species added to your collection or if you've caught this kind before. This also happens with newly appraised fossils. This results in more tedious interactions with blathers where you have to sit through the same set of text repeatedly just to hear that you've shown him this item before. With a game containing item collections this big, there's no way I will ever remember if I've dug up Triceratops balls before among the dozens of other fossils. An indicator on the collection screen showing that something is new, or an additional note in your fossil letters from the museum would be really helpful to eliminate this monotonous element from the game. Multi-selecting items in your inventory is a convenient feature that I use to quickly sell items to Tom Nook, but the game doesn't allow you to do this everywhere. Why can't I do this in the post office to dump all of my letters at once? Or why can't I hand over all of my items to blathers at the same time? I'm sure there's some technical issue behind it, especially with the post office only allowing 5 letters to be sent at a time before requiring you to reload the building, but I still hope this is addressed in the future. Despite the in-game clock matching the real world being a pretty innovative feature for the time that is now a staple of the series, it can be very inconvenient sometimes. Certain events or villagers are around at specific times of the day, and only having free time at night after a long day limits your ability to interact with these parts of the game. This is especially true with Tom Nook closing a shop in the evenings every night, meaning that if you're playing the game around 10 PM or later, you'll never get to visit him for selling items. With how limited the inventory space is, not being able to sell items at night sucks. This alone forced me to change my computer clock every time I played late at night, just so I could barter my black market fruits and peas. In general, there's not much of a reason to play this game late at night besides catching specific nocturnal bugs. There aren't any villagers around at this time, and the post office worker is a bitch that you don't want to talk to anyways, so changing the clock just made the most sense for me. I don't mind breaking the forbidden rule for some diehard fans if it means I can enjoy these games whenever I want, even if that means in the dead of night after spending all day doing homework. For the amount of content and things to do in Animal Crossing, there is a severe lack of explanation about what most of it means. For example, I previously mentioned the Mushroom Festival as an event that can occur in your village. I literally would not have known about this if my girlfriend hadn't been researching things to do in the game as we played it. Additionally, throughout my entire 30 plus hours of playing this game, we only managed to find one painting, and I have no clue how to obtain others. This game plays like I have a circle of friends to discuss our daily findings with, or as though I have a guidebook full of obscure tips and tricks. Who thought of hitting the rocks around the village every day for extra money? Who figured out that certain fruits would sell for much higher than others? Who discovered that villagers would only be able to read the letters you send them if you used proper text formatting, otherwise calling them unintelligible and nonsensical? I'm sure there are dozens of other things that I can't mention, because I don't even know them myself and could never possibly talk about them all. These mysteries and secrets definitely have helped keep this game relevant even nowadays, but it can still be frustrating not knowing some pretty important mechanics for earning bells much faster. And honestly, something that I have to admit, there's a decent possibility that some of these tips are hinted at in conversations with other villagers, but I never spoke to them often enough to obtain this information. This is definitely a much less significant issue than the ones I've previously discussed, but I still wanted to mention it because this game would be kind of miserable without the internet. We can't see Timmy and Tommy! There were other less notable problems, like a villager forcing you to trade with them without you even wanting to, a villager not being around when you actually do want to trade with them, or the inability to access multiplayer features nowadays like visiting other towns, but none of these significantly harmed my experience with this game, so it's not worth explaining them in depth like my other personal gripes, especially in Timmy and Tommy. That is the only thing I look forward to in the next games. Something I haven't talked about much yet are the villagers in this game. While I have mentioned their contribution to the gameplay and your interactions with them in short fetch quests, I would be doing this entire series a disservice if I didn't talk about the characters themselves. I think one of the funniest aspects of this game are the villager personalities. Some are very nice and enjoy your company, some are snarky but still want to talk to you, and others are complete and utter assholes. The rude villagers are something the early Animal Crossing games are pretty well known for, and man, these are some vile creatures. They usually range from grumpy buzzkills that want nothing to do with you, to entitled bitches that have no respect for your efforts. You could bring them a million bells on a silver platter, and they'd still complain that you were late or something petty like that. So naturally, my girlfriend and I needed to rank all of the villagers we got in a tier list based on how much we liked them. Beginning in F tier is Olivia, all alone because she's a stuck-up bitch with nothing ever nice to say. Next in D tier are the following. Egbert is an anxious dude but still rather unremarkable. Gabby is creepy with those big eyes. Biscuit also has creepy eyes and he left our village for no reason. Dina looks like she has children in her basement. Rio is a weird looking bird villager, but my girlfriend thought she was cute when clapping for the firework festival. And Tiara is just snooty and inferior to our other rhino villager. The C tier includes the following. Pango doesn't stick out in any significant way but seems like a cool guy. Cousteau is the definition of mid despite frogs being my favorite animal. Weber is just a cooler duck than Dina. Amelia was our first eagle villager despite being snooty. Yuko is a koala and koalas are sick. And for the hardest villager to rank, Opal. My girlfriend and I were stuck on how to place Opal for a long time, since we originally loved her, but then she started to talk down to us out of nowhere for a short period of time, and we totally lost interest in her after that. Therefore, she goes in C. In B tier, Spike is a chill guy I'd go out for drinks with. Snake is a funny dude that we taught to say bussin', and now that's how he greets us every time we talk to him. And Kit is adorable with the little Joey she has in her pouch. In A tier, Olive is just a pure bean and has never done anything wrong. Shiver is also just a nice little wholesome goat. And of course my main man Murphy, the grumpy old guy with a heart of gold like the dude from Up. And finally in S tier, the penguin, the myth, the legend, Aurora. She'll always look so snug as a bug in her cute sweater, is so nice to you, gives you compliments. What more could you possibly ask for? Overall, I'm pretty happy with the set of villages we got in our playthrough, and it's one aspect of all future games that I will be eagerly looking forward to. And finally, after spending hours and hours with these characters in this world, you will inevitably reach the end, something I both enjoy and feel uneasy about in these types of games, and not an ending in the sense that you reach the credits, but instead how long you will continue playing until you're satisfied with your village and can move on from the game. I've had a hard time making this distinction with Animal Crossing, because you really could keep playing this game forever and always have something to do. But I'm an adult. I have university homework, I have a social life, I have other games I want to play including the future titles in this series. I can't keep playing this game forever. There are a few key end goals that players could strive for in this game, but we never got around to completing any of them. These include paying off all debts to Tom Nook, filling out all collections in the museum, earning all golden tools, and the most difficult of them all, achieving the perfect town rating. The game will rank the quality of your town on certain factors including how much garbage is lying around, the ratio of flowers to weeds in each acre, and the number of trees in each acre. While doing this by itself is not the most challenging task, the real struggle is having to maintain your town in this perfect state for 15 consecutive days. This means logging in every day for a little more than 2 weeks to micromanage each acre of the village to perfection. While I would love to do this in an ideal world without having other responsibilities, this just wasn't feasible for me to do. I respect people that are dedicated enough to reach this goal, but it just wasn't for me. Hell, writing the script has taken me over a year to slowly edit and polish, so I'm finally ready to say farewell to this game. Let's wrap up this video now. Making this video has been much more personal to me than any other thus far. The Animal Crossing games are about your own personal experiences in a village that you're living in, and it makes a long playthrough of these games feel unique and special. It also makes them more difficult to finally let go of, which is why the ending of this video is more somber than others. I'm sad to be ending my long journey with this game, and though I may check in every once in a while to see how things are going, the town of Big Land 2 will be continuing on without me now. I'll always cherish the memories I made with this game. Bonking Murphy, being needlessly berated by villagers, watching the fireworks at the lake, and of course picking out weeds among many others. And while this marks the end of my Animal Crossing journey on the GameCube, there's plenty more to experience with this series and its sequels. The next time I discuss these games, it'll be about Wild World on the DS, which I'm thoroughly looking forward to. Once this video is released, my girlfriend and I will begin our Wild World playthrough to see what changes and improvements have been made to the core formula. I'm excited to begin a new journey with a totally new cast of villagers to interact with, and I'm especially thrilled to do some virtual stargazing with Celeste in the observatory. Thank you for watching.